has the clients you're seeing, the requirements you're seeing, or even your own processes, how have they changed recently with the advent of ChatGPT? Are you seeing more interesting products being developed now because of the extra functionality that you can offer?
So right now on the hardware front, so if you look at commercial devices like a washing machine, a microwave, or smart lock, a smart health band, the
Yes.
AI part is more on the software. It's not yet on the hardware. So these are all software-driven activities that instruct the hardware what to do. So
Yes.
if I have an AI-based light, I don't know what would that would actually do, but people are calling that lights as an AI. So maybe it monitors energy consumption and whatnot. But it's still a software layer. It's an algorithm that's running somewhere on the cloud that instructs it. There are very few chips. Now, NVIDIA is in the limelight because of their strong foothold into AI. So there are very few companies who have AI enabled hardware. Otherwise, everything goes to the cloud. You have computations run on it, and you get things back.
Yes.
So in our space, our application which are AI oriented is increasing, but our core job remains non AI based. And well, when ChatGPT just came out, so I was one of the early users. I would say that because in the first few days it had millions of users, but still, uh,
Yes.
I went through some understanding of prompt engineering, what people are talking about. It may become a full time job for some part of the company one day, where AI response, the LLMs or your generative AI, they typically react to the way you command it. So,
Yes.
prompt engineering, the way you prompt the engine to give you a response, two people can have distinct results in terms of
Yes.
its utility based upon how the prompt is given. So that's what I focused on. At the start, I put some hours of it into understanding how the system would work. And now my next goal is to make sure my team are good at prompt engineering. So I could reduce the customer development time. So I'm not looking at it from a product perspective, I'm looking at it from my operation perspective,
Yes.
how I could speed
Exactly.
things up. So
Makes sense.
that's the area where I'm exploring. I have purchased the plus accounts for the AI engines, which is not really expensive, but that's what I'm experimenting on to see how prompts can give you a different view of how you are doing. So be
Yeah.
it debugging a circuit, be it debugging a code, being you're stuck somewhere, and it can lead you to options on what you can think.
Yeah.
And it's doing fairly good. It's not bad. It's doing fairly good.
What about 5G? Are you seeing a lot of products that need to be 5G compatible at the moment?
So in most cities, 5G network is available almost everywhere. There are very few dark spots. On my phone, I get around 150 Mbps to 300 Mbps. I mean, depending upon how much coverage I have. But and we have unlimited 5G since this is more like getting the customer hooked phase
Yeah.
for the service provider. So in most cities you would get good connectivity. In villages you would have 3G or 4G for sure. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't get the E symbol, the edge symbol anywhere. I rarely remember seeing it on the phone. So it's there in major places. When it comes to these internet service providers or your phones, they are all 5G enabled. But other appliances, let's say you look at a smart camera, your uh, your robot that connects to the internet, or your floor cleaning robot, or anything like that, they would
Yeah.
still rely on 3G or your Wi-Fi, home Wi-Fi. There's an
I see.
interesting payment concept in India, which I'm not sure how many people know. But if I have to pay somebody, it's called UPI, and if I have to pay somebody, let's say as small as an amount as 50 rupees or maybe something even lesser,
Hmm.
we have our unique codes which we enter, and the amount is transferred within few seconds.
Yeah.
And an interesting product that came out of this need is for vegetable vendors or these shops where multiple people come and
Oh,
use
yes.
digital payments. And when I pay you 30 rupees, There's a small speaker that's connected to the internet, and it will make a sound and tell you, XYZ rupees received on your account. So that's one interesting use case that you will see in every shop across the India now. So even at the most remote places, I'm out on a motorcycle. I don't have to worry for even a credit card or my debit card or cash. It's almost, I'll say, 99% of the time I can simply scan the QR code and do a payment.
I
So
see.
that's the best thing that has happened for the market, I'll say.
And what network does that work on? So is that 5G or is it 3G? It's not
It's
kind
it's
of network
it's it's
specific.
it's 3G. It's 3G, and if you don't have 3G, it goes back to 2G.
Okay. So tell me
So
this, like, what's the difference that 5G, can you see on the ground, like either in your like day-to-day life, the products that you're seeing, how they're 5G enabled and what or even the clients that are coming to you, is it creating new opportunities, or is it kind of at the moment the network is there, but the actual products have not really started developing accordingly?
ah, so 5G is basically focuses on a larger bandwidth, but
Hmm.
that comes at a very high battery consumption cost. So you have a win, you have a loss. You have a win of having a higher bandwidth, a
Yep.
loss of lower battery life. So most customers who are looking for an IoT solution that is battery powered do not want to move to 5G this early. They want the device to be 5G compatible for the future. From the antenna design perspective or from the chipset that we choose, we
Yep.
do consider a 5G variant coming in the future. But right now, most of the devices are 4G enabled or Wi-Fi enabled. So it's looked at this way. If this is going to be a stationary device, something in my home or something in an
Yeah.
office, it's
Like a
going to
fridge or
be
a coffee
Wi-Fi.
machine, those. Yeah.
Yes, or it's going to be Wi-Fi enabled for sure.
Hmm.
And you can always provide it Wi-Fi through your phone's hotspot. So
Yeah.
your personal hotspot does the job. If it's something that moves around the city, so my moped that I ride, it's a small scooter, and it's not a
Hmm.
motorcycle, but it
Yeah.
has a SIM card that has 4G. So on the dashboard, I can see maps of where I'm traveling, and it can, if let's say I've put it for charging at the charging station, I can see the live battery status on my phone app, and it does over 4G internet connection. That so it's an eSIM that's there in the bike, that's there in this
Yeah.
moped. So that's a very interesting use case. So connected cars, in a way, they're connected. I mean, they don't send data like speed and whatnot, but it focuses on how much battery you have, so how many kilometers you can ride, or what is the state. So if somebody moves my vehicle, let's say from point A to point
Yes.
B, I can get a notification on my phone that somebody has moved the vehicle. These are very good use cases because of 4G becoming more popular. 5G would be looked at from the main angle of using video and audio analysis. So if there's let's say tomorrow we move to complete wireless cameras for traffic management or maybe guest management in a factory or something like that, that would benefit pretty good from 5G network because you will have streaming done in real time. So that's a benefit. So if you are having some kind of AI layer, so let's say in factories, I want to see whether every person moving is wearing a hard hat and maybe has gloves or something like that. Then my camera can quickly grab the image, push it to the cloud, if not local computation, and generate alerts faster. I can store the stream on the cloud for a few days, and then your 5G does the job for you, which may or may not be good with 4G.
Yeah.
So that's where we are right now, at least in India.
Are you keeping abreast of like technology generally in the sector? Like, for example, self-driving cars and things. Do you think we'll actually see those in the near future, or do you think there's still too many obstacles in the way?
So when it comes to being familiar or being updated with the latest news, that's what my second company does. So it's called as IoT Adda. It's basically started as a blog. So what I do is I try to write about the new technologies that are coming and I post. So a company
Hmm.
launches a new chipset, I'll write about it. A company has some algorithm, some development kits for students or for professionals. I would write about it, attend some events in the industry. So that's what I do. So when it comes to these exceptionally long technology, you talk about self-driving cars.
Yeah.
It's a long way, especially in India. So I always say we have harmony in chaos. So I'm not sure if you've seen the condition of traffic in India, but if there
Yes.
are 3 lanes marked, you would have 6 lane people. But that is how it is.
Yeah.
If we decide to follow the European way and have a car one behind the other with
You'll
car
never get
length
to work.
distance, we'll never reach to work. So a
Yeah.
funny thing did happen to me. So I was in Germany for a month in 2017-18. Twice I'd been there for customer activities, and I did drive around. I got used to the way people drive. So you see a pedestrian, you stop, and then people walk. You wave them, you go ahead. And once I was back, I was all charged up. Like, this is how I'm going to be. This is how a civilized driver is. And the moment I stopped for one pedestrian, tens walked, people tell me to wait. I was never allowed to go ahead. So I finally
Yeah.
had to
It's true.
be arrogant and just drive.
Yeah.
So that's a fact here. And, you know, these autonomous vehicles can have applications in a planned area. So let's say there's a factory or a museum where people are visiting in and out. So you could have visitors sit in a autonomous vehicle,
Yes.
and it takes you from station one to station two. That's possible.
Yeah. So a more
In
controlled environment.
Yes, so roller coaster. I mean, these amusement parks, uh,
Yeah.
uh, universities could have it. Large universities with good roads where you have a controlled traffic or you
Yes.
have discipline. So that's really a nice place where this could click in the Indian market at least. But apart from that, ADAS level two autonomous driving is something that's getting popular in cars now.
Mhm.
So driver alert system and some things like your lane assist and all are getting popular in cars. But I don't see anything happening very soon regarding complete autonomy. And then you have people goofing around. So it's really risky.
Yes.